Well, we are at the top of the hour, so we can go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, to this Supporting for Success webinar. Today, we're going to talk about why libraries are making the switch, and we're going to explore Koha a little more in depth. So in this webinar, we're going to demonstrate the functionality of Koha from both a patron and staff perspective, and we're going to cover how staff can intuitively navigate the models on the staff client and the user experience in both the OPAC or Discovery. So my name is Elise. I'm the Partner Engagement Specialist at Bywater. I'm joined by Adam Brooks, Sales Consultant, and Kate, who is our Sales Development Coordinator. And leading the webinar today is Jesse, our Head of Sales and Outreach at Bywater Solutions. So without further ado, let's get started.
All right, thank you, Elise. As always, this webinar is being recorded, so we will send that out to all viewers afterwards, so you can watch on demand. If you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to use that chat button, and we can answer those questions as we go. And let's dive into it. So if you are thinking about making the switch to Koha, there's a few things to keep in mind. Koha is an open source ILS. What does that even mean, Jesse? Open source means that you can go and download Koha, and that there are users all over the world working to make Koha a great, great product. What we do at Bywater Solutions is we provide support, hosting, implementation, development, training, and of course, ongoing services for Koha. What's beautiful about Koha is it's part of a dynamic community. The Koha open source community is very inclusive and welcoming to work with librarians and vendors and users all over the world that make this product so great. Koha was first released in 2000 as a web-based ILS. As of today, in 2025, it is still a web-based product being used by libraries all over, of course, many here in the United States as well, and celebrating 25 great years. For those that have ever looked into Koha before, it is a Maori word meaning a gift. And this year, at the 25th anniversary in New Zealand, KohaCon will take place celebrating the past 25 years. Now, the Koha interface is very intuitive. It's also accessible on both the staff and the OPAC side and completely customizable. Again, at Bywater, we do provide a hosted solution for Koha. So we will handle all of your upgrades, any of the database maintenance, security, and all of that information. With Koha, there are two major releases every year, generally one in the spring in May, and then another one in November in the fall. The team at Bywater will work to provide documentation and webinars and tutorials, so you know what's coming in those releases. And then we also provide testing plans and making sure that your staff feel ready for that upgrade. So now let's talk about what people are saying. Most recently, one of our partners in Virginia, the Newport News Public Library, recently went live on Koha and another one of our products, Aspen Discovery, that we support. John Curtis, who's the support services manager at Newport News Public Library, shared about their streamlined experience with Aspen for their patrons, and then of course that functionality that Koha offers for their staff. They were able to combine and bring together both their physical and digital collections, making sure that they had also a mobile-friendly space, which was a great option for them. We were excited to bring them into the open source ecosphere and work with them to make that transition. Walla Walla County Rural Library District is another one of our partners that recently went live on Koha and Aspen Discovery. And we were really excited to bring them in to the ecosphere. They brought a ton of new policies and procedures where they brought them into their integrated library system. And we worked closely with them during that implementation process. And of course, now they're on support. So we're really excited to have them in that open source community where they are making a change. Finally, we have Hampton Public Library, which is in Virginia as well. And this is from Neva White, the director. Um, it was great how their patrons shared with staff how much they love their new catalog. With Aspen and Koha together, it's quite the dynamic duo. So you have that functionality on the front for your patrons to be able to navigate through both print and digital collections, as well as that staff side, which keeps things moving from day to day, whether it's your circulation staff or technical services, and making that transition over to a new ILS. So we always love to hear what our partners are saying, and excited to be able to share that information with you all. All right, now that we talked a little bit about, why to make the switch and, what some of our partners are saying, let's jump in and take a look at the Koha demo site. So we'll kick things off by talking about the Koha staff interface. And again, as we mentioned, it is a web-based product. And what that means for your users is that everything can be accessed from a modern browser: Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari. So you don't need a client downloaded on all of your terminals within the system. You can work from home, you can do outreach. Koha makes it really easy for your users to be able to come in and access their day-to-day functions of what they need to be doing within the system. Now, as we look at my screen here, you'll notice that we have all of our modules here on this front page. I'm currently logged in as a user who has permission to all things. We call that a super librarian. And what that allows me to do is jump into all of these modules and talk a little bit about how they work throughout the system, and of course, integrations to outside third-party connections. On the main landing page, you'll see this search box right at the top, which allows your staff members to come in and either scan that barcode or enter in the name of an individual. That will take you in where you can see that account. There's some great options where you can bring in images or take pictures of your users, see their last activity date for both print or digital information, and of course, be able to see all of their resources that need attention over here on the right. Down below, you'll be able to see any checkouts that those users have, and staff will be able to manage those holds for them. So whether they need to change a pickup location or just suspend that hold within the system, they'll be able to make those changes for them. Some other great resources that staff can help your users with is the ability to see notices. This will show your staff a quick snapshot of any messages that have been sent out to your patron. So if for some reason they didn't receive that message, staff can absolutely resend it for them. Finally, we'll talk about those purchase suggestions. For those of you who allow purchase suggestions at your library or your patrons to come in and make them, this is a great place for you to kind of see what's available, suggestions they have made with the connectivity between your Aspen Discovery site and Koha. Your patrons are able to fill out a form and send that right into the Koha interface. Now, when we're creating those patrons, the patrons module gives you all of the resources you need to start. So whether you're checking to make sure that they don't have an existing account in the system, or you're just coming in to create a new patron itself, this allows you to jump right in where you can fill out a form. It alerts your staff as to what fields are required, and they can fill that information out quickly and get those users set up within the system. Staff with permission will also see things here where they can do cleanup. For example, merging duplicates or batch modifying those items within the system. Now, as for our circulation management, Koha has a full-blown circulation module, which allows you to do everything from start to finish for that check-in and check-out process. Whether you're checking things in and you want to grab that quick book drop mode, or you're getting ready to check things out to a patron, this is where you can start that process. Koha does have an offline circulation tool which is key for a web-based product because you never know what's going to happen. Your internet drops, you get a terrible storm, or whatever may happen. This allows you to quickly launch that offline search tool so you can check things in and out to your patrons within the system. Once your connectivity is back up and you can get back into your Koha system, the offline search tool will create a KOC file, which is Koha Offline Circ. Staff can then bring it back in. In the Circ module, you'll also see the place to manage your holds. As we all know, holds are moving quickly throughout your libraries, and this is the place where you can manage all of that information in one spot. Now, let's talk about some of those tools that tie into our circulation and patron management. In the Tools module, you can think about tools as actions. These are things where you can do modification, deletion, making changes to existing things in the system. Whether you're a school or an academic library and you want to import some of your patrons, you can do that here. Maybe you want to set up a new overdue trigger, or you're going fine free. That's where you'll do this. You can also see information here for extending due dates and, of course, batch patron modification. So think of tools as a way for you to come in and do those modifications within the system. All right, now let's talk a little bit about searching. In Koha, there are a couple different ways you can search. On the main screen, you'll see that search the catalog. That'll allow me to come in and I can search by various ways throughout the catalog itself. There's also a search button up top. For those of you that like your Boolean search, you can use the advanced search. That allows you to come in, navigate through the system, and find exactly what you're looking for. Here, you'll find your item types, shelving locations, and collection codes. These help your patrons identify the material, location, and description of what they're looking for. Now, my favorite, of course, is the item search. This is a great tool for your staff to not only search for what they're looking for, but view a complete list or report of items in your collection. From here, users can select exactly what they're looking for, maybe various formats within the collection itself. Maybe they're looking for something specific like ordered items, or maybe they want to browse the shelf and see if they can find anything that's marked missing. This tool gives them access to a complete list of results where they can narrow down, they can export them to a CSV or barcode file, or even perform batch operations. So you can think of that item search as a great tool for staff to be able to come in and find exactly what they're looking for. Now, let's talk a little bit about our technical services. We'll kick things off in cataloging. Koha's cataloging module comes with a basic and advanced editor as a way to build records from scratch, as well as connect to outside sources. So if you use tools like OCLC or BTCat, we have connections that allow you to do your cataloging and bring those records into the Koha system. There is also a built-in Z3950 target, which allows you to go in, search for those titles, and then of course bring a copy into the system. In the cataloging module itself, you'll also see some tools. If you get records from any book jobbers or vendors, Baker and Taylor, Ingram, Brodart, Midwest Tapes, this is where you'll be able to import those records into the system in bulk. We have great tools that allow you to map your 9XX fields, as well as create profiles for those records you're bringing in. Koha comes fully equipped with an export tool, so you always own and access your data. You'll also see an inventory module, which allows you to run inventory, make sure things are where they're at, and connected within the catalog. Here, you'll also see tools for batch editing. Whether you're doing some withdrawals and you want to remove them from the system, or you're just cleaning things up, this will be your starting place. Now, Koha's advanced editor tool is very keyboard shortcut driven. So if you love shortcuts, this is your place to start. You'll be able to come in here and create those records. There's built-in macros, which allow you to quickly add those text strings within the system. And of course, for each catalog out there, you can set your text and your own font. Now, we also have a basic editor, and the basic editor is fantastic for those of you who may be doing some copy cataloging or bringing in records or even cataloging from scratch. And this allows you to navigate through 10 tabs across the top where you can bring that information in. Within the basic editor, you'll see those tag editors, what makes it easy. If you forget what the particular position is you need, you can select that information and create it within the system. Here, you'll also see links out to the Z3950 target, as well as options to change your framework. You can think of frameworks as templates, and templates can be created for different types of material. I have a template for creating serials versus a template for creating monographs. Now, let's tie in serials. For those of you that keep track of your print subscriptions within the library, the serials module in Koha allows you to do all the things from start to finish. Creating that subscription within the system, easily allowing your staff to receive that serial where they can see the predicted pattern along with any additional information. From here, they can set that status and check that item in. Koha serial module also includes a place to place claims for any outstanding or late material within the system, easily allowing staff to download or send off a notification within the system to that vendor. For those of you who are keeping track of your electronic resources, we have an ERM. In Koha, you can come in, keep track of your agreements or active subscriptions, your licenses and the terms that apply, as well as your e-holdings. This is where you'll be able to see all of your packages and titles that you have within the system. To tie that all together, you also have e-usage. This is where you're going to see your data providers, where you can pull in material via Sushi or harvesting those counter reports directly into your Koha system. Here, staff will be able to run those saved reports, look at database or title or package counts within the system, and view that information. With acquisitions, you can manage all of your ordering in one spot. In Koha's acquisitions module, you'll see 4 components. First will be your budget and funds. Here, you'll track your fiscal year spending, track what's ordered and spent, and see that total available. Next, you'll manage your vendors. This is where you'll see information for all things with your book jobbers or vendors within your library system. You can track all types of information, including those details and direct contacts that you work with, whether it's for ordering or EDI or Edifact, or maybe it's just your customer service rep. This is a great place where you can keep all that information in one spot. Now, for ordering and receiving, Koha uses the terminology baskets to keep track of all of those orders within the system. One of the key components of acquisitions is the ability to place on-order items within your system. So if you want, your patrons can place holds on those on-order items. Once those items are received, you can change that status and make them available within the system. So again, this is just a great way to be able to track all of that information in one spot. In the acquisitions module, you'll also be able to view your invoices, where you can search for past or open invoices within the system. Additionally, you'll also be able to manage those purchase suggestions. So those purchase suggestions that are coming through from either the Discovery or OPAC or entered within the staff side itself. Now, for Koha's reports module, this is where you're going to keep track and analyze all things data. Whether you're creating a report from scratch, you have access to a wizard that'll walk you through the creation of a report. For those of you that are familiar with SQL, you also have the ability to create your own SQL report. Now in Koha, all reports start with a select statement. This allows you to come in and build your report in the system. Because Koha is open source, you do have direct access to the tables, columns within the MySQL database. So you can intuitively create those reports and run them within your system. Once those reports are created, they are saved to the Saved Reports library. Here, staff can organize these reports to make it easy to run them quickly within your system. So whether you need to run a quick report on housebound patrons and you want to see quickly everybody that's labeled as a housebound or homebound patron, you can do that. From here, you can download that report as a CSV or text file. You can even create a chart as a pie, bar, or line chart. Reports can be scheduled to run daily, weekly, monthly, or on the frequency of your choosing, making it easy to have them sent right to your email, so all users have access to the data. With administration in Koha, this is where you will manage all things behind the scene, setting up your system preferences, like your templates or formats within the system. And then, of course, during the implementation process, setting up all things that pertain to your libraries and branches, item types, and of course, data or codes. Here, you'll also define your categories and set up your search and find rules. Now that we've seen a snapshot of our staff side of Koha, let's take a quick look at Aspen Discovery. Aspen Discovery is an open source discovery layer that sits on top of your ILS and allows you to essentially bring all of your resources in your library into one spot. So not only can I see all of those great resources that we have cataloged in Koha, but I can also see those digital resources that we might get from Overdrive or Hoopla or Canopy. I can also see events that are happening at my library. I can also bring in digitized information from an outside source. So your users have access to all things in one spot. So you'll notice here we see some browse categories. This is a great way for your users to be able to come in. I always get so excited about the summertime to get ready for hikes or just being outdoors. And this is just a nice way to be able to come and highlight that information within the system so your users can see all of that information in one spot. You'll see here also the quick integration that you can bring in Overdrive Libby, Hoopla, Cloud Library, Boundless, and Palace Project in via an API. Now, users can easily come in and begin their search at the top of the page. From here, they'll get some predictive text where they can search within the system and find exactly what they're looking for. Once those results come back, they will see a list of titles within the system, what's available, and multiple formats will be grouped together, making it easy for your user to decide if they want that print book or, of course, that e-audio book. From here, they'll be able to check those items out and view them within the system. You'll also see a section for Explore More, which brings in all of those resources that your library has. Whether it is a list of staff favorites or a link that goes out to a digitized archive or information that you have through one of your subscriptions like EBSCOhost. This is a great way to bring all of those resources in one spot. With events in Aspen Discovery, your users can even see an active calendar and see those events in line within those search results. So that way they know exactly what's happening at the library. Now, for account management, users have access to it all. Everything from viewing their physical titles and electronic titles within the system to viewing their favorite things that they have on their list, or maybe even a saved search. If they forgot their library card, don't worry, they have access to a digital one, so they can quickly pull it up within the system. Here, they'll also have access to their account settings, so they can set their preferences for things like their preferred pickup location, how they want to be notified, and of course, setting their language within the system. Aspen gives your users access to all things that they need to access your library and being that hub of the community. We want to thank you for being a part of our Supporting for Success webinar series. We have several more coming up in the session. Kate will be presenting some of ours, as well as Elise and Adam will all be here to talk to you for the next few months about ways that we can support for success with open source products. This QR code will take you out to the listing with the rest of these great courses, along with the registration links within the system. As always, if you are interested in setting up a personalized demo, we would love to be able to talk to you a little bit more about what we do and go a little bit deeper into a dive of what Koha and/or Aspen has for your libraries. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer those too. Is there a webinar to discuss the offline circulation tool? Janice, we do actually have a video that walks through the offline circulation tool process, and we can send that over to you. Absolutely. All right. Well, I want to thank my colleagues, Elise, Kate, and Adam. Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers out there, and have a great day.